Welcome, everyone. You are about to embark on a journey through the universe as you indulge in this extraordinary essence of enlightened, empowered, evolved. Let the show begin in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Just in time. Greetings, everyone. I'm Luke Bryan Smith, and welcome to Enlightened, Empowered, Evolved, where we educate, motivate, and liberate you through enlightening dialogues, empowering music, and evolving content. I'm excited yet again, but I miss one thing. I know everyone's doing well, and everything is unfolding perfectly. Now I'm excited yet again because my next guest is the co-owner of the EFT Counseling and Education Center, which is a mental health clinic specializing in marriage and family therapy. She is a therapist, clinical trainer, author, and public speaker, and a whole lot more. But without further ado, allow me to introduce to you Dr. Debi Gilmore. How are you
Thank
doing today, Dr. Debi Gilmore? Debbie, like you said.
yeah, thank you. Thank you. I prefer that. Yes, people call me Dr. Debbie, but thank you so much for having me on your show. This is exciting for me to be able to talk about lifting and building others and what we do one person, one family at a time. So thank you.
Absolutely. You're very welcome. It's well received. And I would like to say that I believe that time is one of our most precious assets. And for you to choose to spend a moment of your time with me in the history of your timeline on Enlightened, Empowered, Evolved, I just want to extend my sincerest gratitude to you. So thank you very much, Debbie, for being here at this present moment.
It's a privilege. It really is.
Yes,
And besides that, we're going to be talking about things I have a passion for. So well spent, time well spent.
absolutely. So, Debbie, let's just get right into it. You're the co-owner of the EFT Counseling and Educational Center. Okay, can you give us a little framework, feedback, front story, backstory on how that came into to fruition, and what does it really, all entail? I understand mental health clinic, but just give us a little bit more detail in regards to
Well,
that,
for me,
please.
it's an exciting story, actually, but it wasn't
Absolutely.
supposed to be a clinic. Years and years ago, when I went for my doctorate, I had to do an internship. And so I thought,
Right.
well, I'll just pretend I'm in a private practice and hire a couple of people. And it exploded into a clinic, grew and grew, and the need obviously was there. But am also an educator. So I wanted this to evolve into not just doing therapy, but also teaching therapists how
Right.
to be therapists,
Oh,
helping them
okay.
elevate their skills. And so there's two parts here. I do work with couples, but I also teach therapists how to work with couples. And then also in my doctorate, I developed a relationship education program that now is actually being used across the world. And so I'm really excited to talk about that. We have a secret sauce, I like to say. And in this relationship program, it's called Building a Lasting Connection. We have an 8 foot by 4 foot mat that actually guides the couples in how to communicate with each other on a deeper level. It's not
Mm,
just how to talk, it's how
right.
to find each other, how to understand each other. And even more importantly, it's how to process emotion, become
Mm,
vulnerable, and to feel safe in that process. So you can imagine couples disconnect when they
yes,
get discomfort, okay? And
yes.
when there's conflict. So
Mm.
we actually help them walk through conflict and disagreements holding hands. So
You
that's
know,
just kind of a little overview. Sorry, go ahead.
no, 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 please don't apologize. I just wanted to interject just for a second.
Yeah.
That is so incredible because that is such uh, a needed thing in regard to especially marriages and relationships in general is the communication or lack thereof, or especially when emotions and ego and trauma and all that comes into play and gets mixed in there. And you already know, the longer that you're around someone, the more comfortable you get, and then the more you experience what I like to call real life. So
Yeah.
you can become, I don't really want to use the word complacent, but you can become, what am I looking for here? uh it's it's like you get used to that person. And
Well, you become
yeah,
ambivalent. You have
yes, there you
sort
go.
of, and because we've been hurt so many times and
Right,
maybe didn't know how to communicate, we shut down and we
right,
just pull away,
right,
or we push and pressure and say, let's talk, come on. And
right.
so this
That's
actually
me.
tempers that. Oh, you're a pursuer. That's what we
That's
call
me.
to pursue
That's
for
me.
connection.
I
Yes,
have to share a little bit because then I can you can give me a bit of insight without giving too much of
sure.
your secret sauce away because
Oh,
I
happy
want
to.
uh to people to seek your services, but I am actively working, you know, through that. But I am that type of person that if there's something uncomfortable or something not quite right, I want to continue to talk it out until it's right. And
Right.
sometimes it's not the right time.
Well, and your sweetheart may be someone who that pressure pushes them away. It's
Right.
overwhelming to them. And so, but the thing is, Luke, you're trying to pursue to connect with your sweetheart. And I call him sweetheart, partner. I don't know what you want to call
Yeah,
your
my
person.
wife.
Yeah, you want to connect with her.
Right.
And when you're trying to pursue for that and she doesn't understand, or you're conveying it in a way that's maybe a little less, she can't well really hear you. She only
Right.
hears your loud voice or
Right.
feels the
Right.
pressure. Then when she disconnects and goes away, you feel rejected, right? And so the
Absolutely.
more you pursue then. And so what happens with this system is there is a speaking side and there's a listener side on the mat.
Mm,
So the couple actually learns how to listen with intent, how to listen actively, how to listen with compassion. And the thing that's hardest about communication is the listening. Nobody
mm,
does it very well.
yes.
Myself, I'm bad at listening. I just want to barrel through and communicate.
Right, right. And then if I can add this, and I've heard this before, I didn't make this up, but I will repeat it, is oftentimes we're not listening to listen, to really learn. We're listening to respond, which
Yes.
means we're trying to figure out the next chess move to say, especially in a heated moment or, some things that, yeah, kind of uncomfortable. We're listening to what we can say to be the next blocking move or, we're not listening to really get an understanding
And
at times.
so much goes by us. We don't
Right,
hear the rich or the sadness or the hurt that's in our partner's heart.
right.
So also, how often do you get to the point in a communication process where you can talk about what you're afraid of because
Mm,
of this hard thing? What is that catastrophic fear? And this encourages the couples to dig for that, to find what is it that I'm so afraid of? Not only that, they actually go to what is it that I hope for
mm,
you, my partner, that's spending this time listening to me? What do I hope for me? What do I hope for us? So it really slows down the communication process so they do find each other. They learn how to share and what to listen for. So it's been so rewarding to
wow.
watch couples have breakthroughs, couples that have been disconnected for years, and they're able to learn this process. So it's this building a lasting connection program is integrated in every culture. It's received by any religion. It really is well received by anyone across the world. So we're
Mm,
wanting to spread the good news.
absolutely. And what's the name of the program again?
It's called Building a Lasting Connection, and that's actually our website. But this
Okay.
system is called Lasting Connection Workshop. It's a 5-section workshop where
Right.
they learn all about adult bonding,
Mm,
learn about
wow.
the communication process, they learn how to deal with differences. We're all about embracing differences nowadays, right? We want to see others as unique and embrace that, but couples are threatened by that. And
Right.
so when their partner disagrees, then they feel tense and they want to argue or defend themselves.
Right.
So then we move on to the essentials of intimacy and touch,
Mm,
how important it is to find not only affectionate touch, but intimate touch, and to understand the need for non-sexual touch. And
right.
then to go the other
Right.
direction, the essential aspect of their sexuality as a couple. And then lastly, they learn about setting goals and traditions and rituals that is the glue that holds a couple together. And that's not usually found in relationship programs. So we've added that.
Wow.
So
Yes, it seems like just from listening, and I'm actively listening right now.
yes, you are. You are.
Yes. So no, you're covering, all the areas in the relationship, the modalities, the different, like you said, the mental, the emotional, the
And the
yes,
physical.
the
Yeah.
physical, yes, and communication. Just everything that you're mentioning is like music to my ears because I've read a lot of relationship books, and yes, so it really sounds like your program is very well-rounded and very informative and very useful and very just unique and
Well,
amazing.
it actually is, Lou, this is based on research. We're not
Right,
going to give any anecdotal evidence or guide them into something we think works. We're
right,
actually guiding them into what creates a lasting connection.
right.
And the research that's been done on our program, we've got several studies that have shown that the things that they learn actually hold, they remember it, and they're able to
Mm,
continue to practice and continue to be stable and improve their relationship even after they've been through this program. So
love it.
it just warms my heart when I think about bringing this to the world and people learning all these techniques that aren't really groundbreaking. It's just combined into a program that's digestible.
Wow, wow. And you said something else that's important because oftentimes, we can learn things and we can recite them in books, but what part of it are you embodying? Are you embracing? Or is there a way that if the information is really speaking to you in a way that you can remember and really like I said, embody it and it
Yes.
be a
Yeah.
part of you. So obviously your program is covering that, is doing that.
Yes, I love what you just said. You said embody this
Right,
program, immerse in it. Because so
right,
often we'll hear, say this, do that, and come back and tell me how you did.
right,
But when they can experience these things in a workshop setting, then when their body experiences it, when they're
right.
looking in each other's eyes, when they're truly connecting with emotion,
Mm,
that's memorable. But
absolutely.
the behavioral programs where they just, like I said, tell you what to do, what to say,
Right.
that's not customized for the individual couple. And so
Mm,
embodying, immersing in it, becoming this program brings
right.
joy. It brings, and it helps the children in the family stabilize and feel more secure too. And that's research right
See,
there.
now that is awesome. I want to say this while we're here. Um, I'm definitely excited from just listening to what you said now, um, to show this video once it's uh, completed, edited, and uploaded to my wife because it might be a
Oh,
program that we might want to check into. I'm into I just believe in growth in all areas. And the last book that we read together was I believe it was entitled The Five Love Languages.
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
so we read that. So I am serious about, if I see that even there's a little bit of deficiency in my relationship or within myself, I work on it, and
Yes.
I
Yeah.
embrace, yeah, so
The nice thing about that book, it's very simple. You
right,
just
it
have to
is.
figure out which one stands out for you the most. And some people say, can't I have them all? And I say, yes. Yes. But which one speaks to your heart?
Right.
And so the key is what's yours? And do you know what your wife's is? What is her love language?
Oh, I know it. You wanted me to say it now. It's
It's
it's a
up to
it's
you.
affect it's affection, and I don't
Affection.
do that enough.
Oh, well,
Yes,
so
I
this
know
is
I
just
don't.
a reminder to show her affection.
Right.
And the question is, what is affection to her? It might be
Well,
different.
it's touch. It's touch. It's
Uh,
hugging. It's complimenting, as well. And
and
I
do
know
you know the
that's
science behind that, Lute? Do you know the science behind touch? This is
uh,
awesome.
okay. Okay.
Okay,
Enlighten
then,
me,
yeah, okay,
Debbie.
I'm happy to. And this is why your sweetheart loves it.
Okay.
So, what we know from research is that when you touch and linger with that touch over 10, 15 seconds, oxytocin is released in your body. And oxytocin is a hormone that we call the bonding hormone. It's a feel-good hormone. So if your sweetheart needs comfort, you know, if you go and wrap your arm around her and linger there, she will have that chemical release of oxytocin in her body, and you will be the hero. And so that happens with eye contact. It happens with lingering hugs. It happens with your animal. If you look in your animal's eyes, fMRI scans of the brain show that actually the animal will have an experience of oxytocin released in their body, and that's the bonding hormone.
Is that why animals stare?
Yeah, I don't know. I've never asked my dog that question.
Yeah, because we have two Yorkies here, and they stare. Like if I'm sitting somewhere and I'll look over and they'll.
So I'm certain if they had a voice, they'd be saying, "Daddy, will you please pet me?"
Oh yeah. Oh, they
Please
get plenty
touch
of pet. I
me.
pick them up like babies all the time. As soon as I come into the house, here they come.
So here's a test when you get with your sweetheart. Anyone that's
Okay.
listening, here's how
All
you
right.
can experiment with this. Notice how you're feeling. Sit next to your partner
Okay.
and take their hand and notice what happens in your body. Just try to notice. Some people say they feel a tingling sensation, or they just feel a warmth, they feel safety. But the difference is, in our world, we're in such high speed mode
Right.
that we don't notice. So it's slow down, pause, and notice what it's like when you touch her, and ask her what it's like for her to touch you.
Oh,
That's a
ask
bonding.
her.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Ask her to notice, and then you'll start to understand why affection is so important to her,
Mm,
because she feels secure when you show her that affection. She feels safe. She feels accepted. She feels like she belongs.
okay. Absolutely. I am going to remember that and ask, and I will, because I do know that her love language is touch and affection.
Oh,
Yes.
that's wonderful. I'm impressed that you know it, that
Oh
you know
yes.
what her
Oh
love
yes.
is.
Yes. She reminds me quite
Yeah.
often.
Good
You
for
know,
her.
we're sitting there.
And
Uh, touch me, hug me, hold me. Yes.
yeah. And you know, couples that haven't been connected for quite some time, stop asking. And
Right.
so that's a good sign that your sweetheart is asking. She's
Right. I
crying out to you, and she's
right.
saying, "Hey, you
Hey.
matter. I want to know that I matter too." That's
Right.
awesome.
Right. Right. Yes. Yes. And mine, I would say my love language is in words of I don't really want to say it's encouragement, but you know, commending me when I'm
Words of
yeah,
affirmation.
affirmation. Yeah, and just
Yeah.
letting me know that I'm doing all right. Because
Oh,
oftentimes there's complaining and we forget we
yes.
forget to say, hey, we're focusing more on the stuff we don't like
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
less on the stuff we do like. And sometimes I remind her, I go, well, what do you actually like about me? Because
Oh.
I hear what you don't like. You're always telling me that.
So think about the last time she said something to you that was in the form of praise, where
Right.
she was actually highlighting something she was impressed by or whatever. What was it
Right.
like for you when she said that?
It feels empowering to some extent to hear, your significant other say something, give you praise. It feels really good. And
Oh, it's
I
amazing.
think us men, I know women do want to hear that, they're beautiful and things of that nature, but men, want to hear, hey, feel useful in not only their actions, but what you tell them.
Yes, to just feel appreciated. See,
Appreciate it.
it,
That was the word I was looking for.
that's
Appreciate.
it. Okay, so the
Right.
appreciation, to feel valued. So
Right.
here's a trick, another tip for a relationship
Right.
is when you're with a crowd of people, maybe it's just a small group of people, praise your partner in front of them. Talk about them in some way. Just say, do you know what I love about my partner?
Mm,
This. And something happens inside of them. It's elevating. You talk about that's what you're
wow.
all about, Lute, is
Yes.
elevating people. If you want to just try that and then ask them
Yes.
later, what was that like for you when I praised you in front of everyone? It builds their self-worth. It
Yes.
builds confidence. It's
Right.
great in business, with
Mhm.
employees when you
Right.
praise people in front of others. There's something incredibly empowering. I like your word, the
Wow.
empowering. And so we
Yes.
forget to do that. We're complainers,
Yes.
aren't we?
Yes. Yes. From my perspective, I have picked up, that in, most of what I've been privy to, around people complaining more than they give
Mhm.
compliments, in relationships. I will observe, I'm an observer, and I'll, even though I'm not purposely, trying to be, you know, overstep, but I notice that people are complaining about one another, and
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
And then it overshadows, we miss the good things in
Right.
life.
Right.
And I am thinking of a couple I've been working with for quite some time. They have developed a ritual of at the end of their day, they talk about something they're grateful for in the other.
Mm,
And this is
wow.
something they never
I like
skip.
that.
And if they skip it, they miss it. But it's
Wow.
just a reminder of what's good in their relationship or good
I
in their
love it.
world.
I
It
love
makes
that.
us better people. I do too. I want to do it. I haven't done
Yes.
it yet.
Yes. And I wanted to highlight for everyone here, when you all heard me say that I am excited to show this video to my wife so that we can watch this together. I want to be an example that, even though I consider myself, you know, a leader or a teacher or a coach, I seek therapy and help myself too. I do.
Oh,
And yes, I'm okay to be vulnerable in that way, and to admit where some of my, deficiencies, I can stand to be better, especially at the complimenting and the affection in my relationship as well. Oftentimes we get to a point. The word that comes to mind is taking for granted, and then we don't do those things. Because
well,
we.
what you just said, it reminds me of something someone told me years and years ago when I just started my education process. They said, don't go to a professor or teacher who says they don't need to learn anymore, that they're done
Right.
learning. And what
Right.
you're talking about is even the greatest
Right.
leaders among us can learn and grow and lead the way. To be
Right.
a mentor means I have flaws and imperfections, and so
Right.
I'm working on me too. Let's work together. That's impressive, Lute. I love
Right.
what you just said. Thank you for
Yes.
sharing that.
Absolutely. You're welcome. Yeah, I just created a quote. And I put it on my page here recently, and it says, "You can't work on what you refuse to acknowledge."
Mm. Oh, yeah, yeah. Awareness
Yes,
is the first step toward change. Yes.
yes. And then I made another quote. I'm gonna, just so I don't mess it up.
Yeah.
I'm gonna find it right here while we're here. But it said this too. I created another one that said, and I'll find it here in 1 second. It says here, there is a sense of liberation, even within the acknowledgement of one's own deficiencies.
That
Yes,
level of humility. That's beautiful, Lute.
right.
Could you
Like,
share that again? I want to memorize it.
here, this is what I'm going to do, because I created it as a quote.
It's awesome.
And I'm going to, while we're here, I'm going to send this to you.
Oh,
Do
thank
you
you.
check your messenger ever?
I do. Yes.
Okay. So where is, okay. Okay, right here. I'm going to go to your, and see, I pride myself on going with the flow in this podcast. So just
I love
because,
it.
yeah, yeah. So people know it's real life. Um, you know.
Yeah, and I'm checking it right now to be sure that you're actually sending it to me, Lou. I love
Yes, no, no,
it.
I am. I got to find your name. Okay, here you
Yeah.
go. Debi Gilmore. And then here it is. Okay, let me find the quote because I just created it.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's significant
here it
because
is. Now you have it. That's it.
okay, and it
Please.
came. There is a sense of liberation, even with an acknowledgement of one's own deficiencies. I just think there's a lack of humility in our world,
Right,
Loot. And
right,
if we could all look at it that way,
right.
I actually developed my own mantra this year when I had a birthday, and someone said, "What did you learn last year?" And I said, "I learned that I need to be better, but this is my mantra. And based on this program, I'm learning this. I need to listen more intently. I need to love more abundantly, and I need to forgive more swiftly."
Wow. See, yes, yes, amazing, and that is displays humility and willingness to self-reflect. And I think that's important because oftentimes I, in my perspective, I've witnessed, a lot of people that aren't willing to self-reflect. And throughout my journey have heard uh, people say, this is how I am, and that's it. This is just how I am. So I think when you get to that, they don't realize, and I'm not criticizing, but I'm learning about myself from listening to them.
Yes.
Once you get to a place where you don't want to move, that's a terrible position to be in. That means you're not willing to be open to grow. Yeah, you're saying I've gotten to this point. I'm in this box, and is where I'm staying.
And they eliminate joy. They
Right,
eliminate the possibility of joy. And those are the people that come to me and say, "Can you help me fix my marriage?" And I
right,
ask them, "Are you willing to be vulnerable? Are you
right,
willing to change?" Because I don't ask the couple, "Tell me about your partner's flaws." I
right,
ask them, "Tell me about your own struggle." And together we're going to figure out how you can communicate that pain to your partner, and you'll understand each other better. But if you're going to stay stuck and say, "Please change her," or "Please
right.
change him," that's not going to work.
Nope.
And I'm sad when that happens. There
Right.
are those, but it's interesting. I've had years later, some people come to me and say, "I get it now. Please help
Mm,
me."
yes. And
That's rewarding.
that is rewarding, and that's amazing. We're down to about 5 more minutes, so I wanted to ask you, could you give us a little insight? I want to help you promote your book
Thank
that's going to be
you.
released. So give us the title of that book, a little
Yeah.
bit of insight on it, and when you
Okay.
expect it to
And
be released.
thank you so much, Luke.
Absolutely.
It's called Conquering Your Inner Critic. And what I found through the years of my work in mental health, almost everyone who came to me, regardless of their troubles that they were trying to conquer, struggled with some level of self-worth. There's a critic in their head that tells them they're not worthy of love and belonging. They're not ever going to measure up. They're just not good enough. So I developed a program that helps people conquer that negative voice in the back of their head by uncovering who they really are, finding the positives about them, and giving them techniques. There's several steps, and it's outlined in the book, Conquering Your Inner Critic. We all have this negative committee in the back of our heads, and
Right.
that our inner critic calls a meeting to order in the middle of our day when we're maybe in front of a group of people and says, "Okay, let's talk about you, Debbie. You're worthless. Who do you think you are?" And we don't have a choice. The
Right.
meeting's held in our head, and we have to
Right.
take notes to the meeting. And
Right.
then we take that with us wherever we go. It's tragic. So I developed this so that they could conquer that part of them to then go forward and conquer their challenges. And it's been remarkable to see the success from that.
Absolutely, absolutely incredible. And that, wow, you are finding the uh meat of what people need,
I hope
and it
so.
just, yes, those are some powerful um subjects. I don't know if I
Yeah.
want to say subjects, but yeah, conquering your what is that again?
Inner critic.
Inner critic,
So
because everybody has that, and then,
yes,
you
and
know,
Lou,
oh
remember
wow,
before we started recording, you and I said something. We're in this because we've suffered. I'm
right,
writing book, and I developed this program based on my own experiences and the experiences I've seen in loved ones. And so because of my suffering, I can consider myself an expert.
Brilliant. And yes, absolutely. That's the best way we learn. That's the best way we learn, by actually going through it.
That's
Yeah,
right.
I recall as an adolescent, my mother uh trying in vain to teach me certain things, but I wasn't having it. I had to go through it myself. And now I know. I know
Yeah.
that when you put your hand, over the fire, it burns, even though she tried to tell me, you know. And I'm
Uh,
just using that as a,
You're an experiential learner, and
right,
that's true of most people. We
right,
learn by experience. And so we want them to have good experiences. So I
right.
hope they'll check out my program. It's a good experience.
Absolutely. And share with us once more, how do we find your program? Share your link again, please.
There's a couple of ways to find me. Either
Okay.
go to buildingalastingconnection.com. And my program is also mentioned on my website, Dr. Debi Gilmore, DEBI Gilmore.com.
Thank you very much, Debbie. I just want to extend again my sincerest gratitude to you for bringing incredible value to not only myself, but to the podcast in every way. I'm certain everyone that's listening and or watching. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It was an honor to have you here today. Really, I really resonate with what you uh, imparted on me today.
Oh,
Thank you.
it's a privilege. Thank you, Lute.
Yes.
Appreciate being here.
Absolutely. And thank you everyone for watching and or listening. Be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to hit the subscribe button. Share this, leave comments, spread this, help the platform grow, help uh, enlighten people. And yes, with this incredible, valuable uh, insight and dialogue. Yes. Thank you very much, everyone. And until next time, love and appreciation. See you soon. Enlightened, empowered, evolved.